Hi, Mary here again. I thought we would go through some poses that you can use for strengthening for different parts of the body. So when you start going through a regular flow class, things can move a little bit better for you. So go ahead and come on back to your mat. We are going to start with a forearm plank. So with this one, we're going to be on the forearms. You want your elbow right below your shoulder. We're going to keep the tailbone tucked under. You want to keep the hips and the shoulders kind of level with each other. You can be on your knees or on your toes. So here are the variations that you can go into. So here it is with your knees on the floor. Again, now your tailbone, if it's pointing up, you'll get that sway back, so that bothers the back. We don't want to do that. So let's tuck under that tailbone here. And then if you want to just go to the toes, tuck under your toes, lift one knee at a time, and just see how you feel there. So you can always alternate one knee down, one knee up if you're trying to build strength to hold it into that plank on your toes. What people run into with their shoulders is that they do get tired. So depending where your arms are, that can impact that as well. So maybe bring the palms of the hands together, press them together. You can make fists to push down into the floor. You can have palms down on the floor and press them. Or you can take your hands out so you have like a number 11 with your forearms underneath you. And that works your upper back a little bit more. But remember, you're going to try to work up to do 20 seconds, then maybe 30 seconds, maybe a minute to hold the plank that we're in here. So if you started with me when I began, I'm trying to watch my clock to see if we're going to meet that 1 minute mark here. But do your best to stay where you are. Again, you can alternate one knee up and then the other. We're trying again to keep the hips about level with the shoulders. We don't want them popping up on us there, because then you lose the front side of your abdominals. Think about the front ribs and hips coming together underneath you. That's going to engage that core a little bit more strongly. Whew. And I think we at least meet 1 minute on that. So bring your knees back down. Let's stretch back. Child's pose, knees wide, toes can touch with your toes tucked under or the top of the feet flat. It's your preference. Hips back by the heels. Reach your arms out. Forehead to the floor. Little rotation of the head back and forth to massage your forehead if that feels good for you. And take another deep breath in and out. And let's come up to all fours. This time, spinal balance. Really good for the back also. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And we've done these in some classes here. Same thing with the back. We want to not have a swayed back. So we're going to tuck under that tailbone. Extend one leg back and then lift the leg. Keep the foot flexed. So we want to try to keep the hips level, like you've got a tray of drinks on your back. So if we lift the leg and the hip lift with it, we're going to have to bring that hip back down. If you have a mirror to look at, that really helps. A lot of us don't though, so you put your hand back there, kind of feel it there. And then you can take the other hand out in front and lift that arm up as well. Here's a challenge for you. Knee out to the side, elbow to the side. So let me switch my arm and my leg here. So the elbow just comes out to the side. You can hold it there, or you can alternate one side and then the other. Your other option, let me turn a little bit more this direction here. Back up, there we go. Okay, so your start position's here. Progress it to the elbow and the leg bend, and then you can straighten out the arm and the leg as well. So let me try the other side with this one. So extending out first, knee the elbow to the side, straighten out your leg, straighten out your arm, bring it back into your start position, and back to the floor. So that's a spinal balance. That's a good one to go into as well. The next one we're going to do is going to be the side plank. So with this one, on the forearm or on the hand. So I'll first show you with the arms straight. Sometimes this feels better. It's kind of challenging for some too though. But there's some different levels that we can go into this. So again, on your side, you're going to come up to one knee. The other leg is straight. Try to get your hips square, your shoulders square. So by that, they're going to be square to the wall across from you. Or think of them being stacked. One shoulder on top of the other, one hip on top of the other. We're going to try to keep this shoulder over the wrist. So I'm going to have to move into this a little bit more here. There we go. Sometimes that's hard on the wrist, so you can go onto a fist if you're okay with that, or you can do the next variation I show you here in just a moment. Arm can be up, but you want to keep it strong. This leg can stay on the ground, or it can lift. Flex your foot. Let me move up a little bit here. There we go. And so that's another option. You could, while you're here, move that top leg forward and move it back. Just know it's behind you. Try to keep it hip level. So that's going to challenge your balance. When you do that, you want to try to keep the hips still without rocking up and down or forward and back. So that's the challenge with this one, but that will get you nice and strong in your oblique muscles. Other option, have that foot on the floor, take the other leg back behind it. So you've got a staggered position, or take that, what I call the top leg on top of the other, hips are lifted. You can also take that top leg up, and then those are your variations on the extended arm side plank. For the forearm plank, I'm going to switch sides for this. You're on your forearm, and your elbow's going to be right below your shoulder again. That helps protect that shoulder area. This hand can be on the floor to help you lift. So I'm going to start first with my bottom knee bent. Press into it to get me lifted. Again, square my hips or stack them. Same thing with my shoulders. This top leg is going to be pressing the foot into the floor to keep active. Keep the ribs lifted away from the floor. Those are the oblique muscle areas. Other arm, again, it can go up if you like that, or again, you can keep it on the floor to help lift you up till you're strong enough to lift that arm away, or it can go on the hip. Top leg can go up again. You can do that forward and back, slow. Keep the balance. Anytime you're in a posture of balance and you add movement, it's more challenge. So by all means, go ahead and try those. And then if you wish, take that top foot down. We're going to take the bottom leg, straighten it out, and then again you're back into these options, or you can stack that leg on top. Again, hand on the floor, on the hip, up, leg can be up. So those are your side plank options there. Let's see, next one we're going to go into is going to work more into your shoulders. So when you're doing the down dog, when you're doing chaturangas, we need a lot of upper body strength. So this next one's called dolphin. It looks like down dog, but it's on the forearms. So we're going to take the elbows right below the shoulders and then take them out just a little bit wider. Sometimes it's easiest to go in this position. So like genie arms, and then take your hands to that little triangle place. You kind of play around with that a little bit to see what works best for your body. And then we're going to take the toes, tuck them under, lift your hips up, and then walk your feet into where it's comfortable for your heels. You can always bend those knees a little bit or a lot. But this is the dolphin pose. So in dolphin, we want to keep the head not really just kind of hanging down, but keep the neck in line with your spine. So again, if it feels better to work your feet further back, you can. If you want to work them closer in, you can. Your goal is to hold the dolphin pose for, again, try to go for your 20 seconds, maybe then extend it to 30, maybe a minute, maybe even 2 minutes. Because this one you don't have as much weight to hold up in the shoulders, but you're still working a lot through those shoulders. So if you feel your body's kind of sagging down, think about lift, shoulders away from elbows. Press the palms of the hands into your mat. Try to feel every vertebrae stretching up towards the sky, out through the tailbone. And notice, are you tucked under, or are you kind of swayed back a little bit? We just want a neutral spine. Sometimes that's hard to find, but you'll find it there. Maybe take one leg a little more straight than the other. Some variations on this for balance. Keep your feet close together to start. Then lift one foot a little bit away from the floor. Just see how that changes through your shoulders. You can take a little bit higher if you like. See if you can hold it there for 2 or 3 or 4 breaths. And then bring it back down. And then the other foot, it might feel different because balance is always different on each side of the body. And then you can lift a little or a lot. See if you can hold it for 3 or 4 breaths on this side. And bring it back down. Remember, the movement is going to add a challenge to your balance. One leg at a time or one hand at a time adds more challenge to your balance as well. So kind of play around with it a little bit. If you kind of get bored with just staying in one place, try moving the feet out. See if that makes a difference. Move them back in. See if that feels any different. So slowly come out of this. Nice stretch again into your child's pose. Take your knees wide or keep them narrow. Arms stretched out. And walk your hands in. Okay. So those are just a couple of things that you can do. And I know a lot of people talk about, but what about my abs? I want to work my abs. Well, we just did. We did the whole core. So the front are a certain set of abdominal muscles, but we need to work everything around, the sides, the back, your glute muscles, your shoulder muscles. They all work together. But if you really want to work your abs, I'll show you. So the front of the abs. So this one is going to be the boat pose. And I'm going to be the yoga instructor who can't do boat very well. I've got problems with my back and my hips that I can go to a certain point, but then after that, I just can't figure out how to finish it out. So the full posture, you're going to be tilted back. You're going to keep your chest lifted, not collapsed, but lifted. And then your legs come up. You want to take your legs straight and then let go. And that kind of looks like the full boat pose. That's my best boat pose. But I start with my shins here, my hands underneath my knees. Elbows wide, very important. Keep your elbows wide. Shoulders down, feel your shoulder blades come down your spine. If you're not quite there yet, sit up. Roll the shoulders down, feel the shoulder blades come down the spine, and then you're going to come back and just hold that nice straight position. Keep those hands underneath your knees. Keep your collarbones open. That's why the elbows are wide. We don't want to collapse the elbows. And then if you can let go, you're at the next point, the next level. Next step, take one leg up. Maybe it doesn't go that high. Maybe just a little bit off the floor. Eventually get it up to what we call tabletop, shin parallel to the floor. Make sure you get both of them there. And then you can add the second leg to it. Keep the collarbones open. Keep the shoulder blades down the spine. Sometimes hands here helps a little bit with that posture. I know it does when I straighten out my legs. There I'm able to hold them up, but I can't do it without pressing it to the floor. So everyone's a little bit different. When you practice that, sometimes you can have your feet up elevated on a chair. Let me show you real quick. So with my trusty chair here, place your feet up. You have to do everything the same though. Elbows are wide, hands underneath your knees, shoulders down. You're going to take the spine, one unit leans back away. See if you can hold it there and take one foot off and then the other. Maybe just kind of play around a little bit. Sometimes arms above the head is a little bit easier because now you transfer the weight from being so forward to being a little bit further back, and it's a little easier to hold up. But again, use an elevated object if that helps with your chair. So anyway, those are some great postures just to work on. If you have a spare 5 minutes, pick one and go through it and just see if you can do it a few minutes, take a rest. Maybe a couple of them in that 5-minute time frame, but every little bit does help. So I hope you enjoy this. I will see you soon. Take care.